This is episode 5. We've been pretty consistent lately, I feel like. And this episode is going to be about cuffing season. For those who don't know what cuffing season is, I'm going to assume you're just like not American, which is fine. But cuffing season is basically just dating season. If y'all have seen Bridgerton, it's like what is that called? Like when the girls are being presented when it's they're being
Yeah,
courted. It's kind of like
yeah.
that, y'all, except not as cute and elite and romantic. It's actually kind of trash.
Right, right.
But that's basically what cuffing season is. Everyone's dating, trying to get cuffed, which is getting with someone or not getting with someone. But cuffing season is like what's called everyone's cuddling. So we're gonna talk about that in the spirit of the holidays. But as usual, before we hop into the main topic, we're gonna start with some mundane topics that really don't matter, except they do because they're dumb. And the main thing we're gonna talk about with these unrelated topics is Capri Sun, because Capri Sun apparently changed their recipe.
Yeah.
Chanel told me about this, so I'll let her explain what's really going on there because she actually tasted the reformulated Capri Suns, and I fortunately did not because she warned me. But yeah,
Let
apparently
me
Capri
just
Sun changed it.
let me just say, I don't ask for much. I don't ask for a lot, and there's not a lot of things that make me happy. I'm gonna be real honest with y'all. The only flavor Capri Sun that I drink is Pacific Cooler. The specific flavor I drink is Pacific Cooler. I take my happy ass to Food Lion. Oh, da 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 da. I'm walking down the aisle. I peeped the box. It's like, oh, now like
Something.
35% more natural or something like that. Yeah, and I'm not paying it no mind because I mean, companies false claim all the time. So I'm like, whatever. I grab my box because I know the juice that I drink. I grabbed two. Did I grab two? I grabbed one. I was gonna grab two because it was 2 for $6, but I'm like, not too much. Let me just get one. Thank God I only got one. Thank God I only got one. And I should have known something was up when I cracked open the box and the whole package looked different.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, are y'all rebranding? Like, did y'all hire a new artist? Like, it looks completely different.
it's
So
awful.
I'm
It's awful
like,
to look at.
right. I'm like, okay, like, y'all want to, redecorate? Cool. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Because I'm here to drink my juice. Y'all pop that straw in. I take a sip. I said, um, where's the sugar? So this hit me the way it hit me because Gold Peak had a lemonade tea that I like, and they randomly did the same thing. They changed their labels and they took like the sugar out the tea. I'm like, why? So yeah, I'm sipping this Capri Sun. It tastes like straight raw waters, which if y'all don't know, is supposed to be like the healthy version. I don't know. It's supposed to be like, oh, all natural, like less juice. Kids won't even know the difference. Type teas. I'm drinking this diet Capri Sun, and I'm just like, yeah, for real though. So Chris knows this about me. When I am dissatisfied with the company's behavior for anything, you will see me on their Facebook page. It's a given. I'm gonna look you up on Facebook, and even if I don't have the option to write it on your wall, I'm gonna find a post that the comments are under, like I'm able to comment, and I'm gonna comment it on that. I don't care if it's from August. I'm gonna write my comment. So I sure did go up there, and I was in a tizzy. I said, if I wanted watered down juice, I would drink Honest. I would drink Honest juice. I wasn't looking for that. Nobody is like, you know what? I'm gonna be healthy. Let me go get a Capri Sun.
Right.
You don't see Lunchables changing their formula. They know what's up. Ramen noodles, they know what's up. No one's like, I'm about to be a health nut. Let me go get me some ramen. Nobody comes to get Capri Suns looking for health reasons. So yeah, I basically forced myself to finish all the juice. I was drinking like two at a time with random meals just to get out my fridge because I was so sick of looking at it. I was in a tizzy. I was heated. I was annoyed. And Chris, luckily, I think she got hers from Target, and it was still the old formula.
Hmm.
But y'all, when I tell you the specific cooler had no juice to its name, I
Actually,
just can't.
I still have the box on the floor somewhere.
I just can't.
Let me confirm because I'm pretty sure it was the original. Because after you said that, I noticed that the new boxes said like monk fruit. Yep, this is the old one. I should keep this.
See,
This is what's
it's
the word?
vintage at this point.
But yeah, vintage.
Like
Okay.
y'all, I was just sitting there like, and I don't like the Roaring Waters. So I went to Chris's place one day, and I drank a Roaring Waters Capri Sun, and I'm sensitive to artificial sugar. It'll like make my stomach hurt. It'll give me a headache, but I could also literally like taste it. So I was tasting it like, baby, this got stevia in it. What kind is this? She's just like, oh, you want cherry or orange? So I'm like, cherry. And I'm like, yeah, this that Splenda juice. Hmm. So
That
needless to say, Capri Sun will not be seeing me no more. Like I was in a fake rage. I basically was like, now I gotta add y'all to the list of other companies that did a switch up. Like I don't know if y'all was honeycomb beasts, but I was when I was a kid. I tried eating honeycombs as an adult, completely different cereal. What else? There's something else that ravioli. It's not the same ravioli, the can that jumped off the shelf and rolled to your crib. It's not that. Chef Boyardee is now like Chef Benton or something. I'm like, please. Like, you used to be able to see the ground beef pieces and the sauce and the can. The last time I tried to have ravioli thinking it was gonna be sweet, not actually sweet, but like I thinking it was gonna be what I remembered, it was like minced cafeteria meat and the raviolis. I said, I can't have nothing. Yeah, I just want to take my childhood away from me. Like, yeah, I had to see the page. Capri Sun's page was in an uproar. Like the comments, it, go look at it. Go look at it. That's what I'm gonna say. Go look at it.
and then their response to one of the sorry y'all can hear this applesauce sliding across my keyboard. Yes, I mean cookie dough and applesauce since we're talking about
Ew!
hairspray.
Oh my god, Chris, what? I'm sorry, y'all. Like
But
what?
this lady, I guess, on Capri Sun's on Facebook somewhere attacked Capri Sun because she was saying there it looked like a worm that was in her
Yeah.
kid's Capri Sun straw, and she was just like, "Be careful and like watch out for those drinks that don't have the clear plastic on the back so you can actually see into them." And the way
Yeah.
Capri Sun responded and just like gaslit her and basically said, without really saying it, but basically was like, "Oh yeah, sometimes like stuff molds. Yeah, sometimes it happens." And
Yes, yes. They were very much like, you know how if you get an apple, you leave it on the counter because it's all natural without preservative. That's what's gonna happen if it's an all natural item. But what kills me is I don't know if y'all remember. I think it was a few years ago though. A situation happened with a kid finding mold in their juice, and after that, a bunch of juice companies like Capri Sun, I want to say Kool-Aid Jammer did it. They either switched the backs or the bottoms to be transparent. So people are like, yo, you need to bring back the transparent bottoms. Why Capri Sun was like basically plastic is getting high.
okay, so it's
They
like,
was really like, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna be honest with you, we're not gonna do that.
yeah, it's hard out
I'm
here,
just
y'all.
like,
Like, okay.
Lord, they won't be seeing me. I'm gonna just stick to what I know, the juice I like.
Yeah, I just got back from the grocery store because, I mean, I drink the Roaring Waters, but after they did the switch up,
Yeah.
I feel like now the Roaring Waters, I can taste the stevia in it, and I can taste
Yeah.
that like artificialness of it.
Yes. Hmm.
And it's just very interesting because y'all will go from using regular sugar to using artificial sugar. Like, or
Right.
I don't know, I thought stevia and stuff and Splenda were like artificial, but it's supposed to be like
And people
healthy.
always are like, the artificial sugar is worse for you. So
Like,
I'm
it just
just like,
has a weird taste, but Anyway, I was at the grocery store and I was gonna pick some up, but I was like, you know what, I gotta get a different staple. So I got some Kool-Aid Jam,
Yeah,
red kind, and hopefully I like that.
yeah.
Is that
What
what?
someone I actually hate the red kind Kool-Aid Jammer, but what somebody said was like they said Aldi has like Aldi brand Capri Sun basically,
Hmm,
and I said I might have to stop in there because again I only like Pacific Cooler. I don't really care. The strawberry kiwi is okay, but as far as like when I pull up to the shelf, I'm looking for Pacific Cooler. They also have I think the Mountain Cooler flavor. That would be like my runner up because it's kind of like a it's like a medley without being too like punchy. I don't really care for I'm not like a fruit punch girl.
yeah,
Um, but I might see what Aldi's talking about because Capri Sun is not saying anything. Cut they fucking mic,
completely disappointed me.
y'all.
It came out of nowhere. Like what the fuck? Um. Anyway, so we're gonna move on, y'all. Get ourselves like a little bridge, a little connecting question. So that question is, how would you describe or define your ideal dating style? So like your dating style in theory, and then what is your actual dating style in practice?
So I'll start this off with saying I don't have a lot of like experience with dating. Like the way my patience is short, like I will get off the app in 2 days. Like leave me and be off of it for like 6 months. Like leave me alone. Um, but I think generally, if I had to say like how I date, I wouldn't even say like it's traditional like dating, right? Because dating is kind of like you're getting to know multiple people, seeing like, okay, um, like who you vibe with. I will start vibing with someone and I'm like, okay, we must get married. Like, what's going on? Like, huh? I'm like, meet me at the altar. They're like, huh? I'm like, huh? So I feel like that is like, and it's hard to get out of that. Like, I just feel like I kind of gravitate toward um monogamy, juggling my like investing in people in different ways, even like just spending time with someone to me is an investment. Like if you get to enjoy the benefit of my humor, yeah, if you get to be on the receiving end of knowing me, baby, it's an investment. Yeah.
Would you say that you get attached to people easily, or that like you don't, but because of that, when you do kind of get attached to someone, it's like deep and fast?
I wouldn't even say I get attached so much as like if I like someone's vibe, I want to be around them. Because and I say I don't get attached because just like if they start talking to me, like it's not gonna move me no kind of way. You know what I mean? Just like I'm gonna be like, this was frustrating, this sucks. Um, but I'm not gonna be like deeply hurt, right? Um, so I'll say more so like I enjoy the stage of like when I'm getting to know somebody and I like them, I'm like, ooh, like I can see something with this person. And doing that with multiple people, I feel like I also meet few people that I like. Like you might be like, okay, this person's attractive, or oh, this person, is goal oriented and does well for themselves. But it is very rare that like a lot of my boxes are checked by an individual. So when my eye catches somebody and I'm like, okay, like it's like a vibe. Um, then I kind of want to invest my time and my energy in that person, which is almost like if you think about it, putting all your eggs in one basket. Um, but then it sucks because if someone was to ask me like, oh, like how do you kind of like to date? Again, like the juggling multiple people, I've just never been good at. I don't know what it's about. Um, yeah, I'm not there yet.
Do you do you want to keep it like that, where you're more of a I'll chat with different people, but then once I find someone who I'm vibing with, I want to just chat with them and focus on them? Or would you like in an ideal world or whatever want that to be different, want to be able to do the like roster dating basically?
I'd say I probably want to do roster dating just because I feel like a lot of times, I mean, when you meet somebody, it's heady, it's like that rush, right? Like you. it's almost like you move too fast without realizing, without seeing whether or not there's someone that you should even put the investment in, just because there's some things you like about them, right? Like
Right.
you could be talking to four different people, for like 2 months and realize like you like person A more than person D. But if you're just talking to person A because you like them, it could be like 2 months in and you like, oh my God, like you start learning more about them. You're like, I actually don't like these things about this person. But now, like, you don't knock three people off because you were focused on this person because you like them, even though you can like multiple people. So,
Yeah. I feel like there's kind of a, I don't know if pressure is the right word, but I'll use pressure. I feel like it's
mm,
kind of like pressure to roster date,
yeah,
especially if you're. I mean, I just will always say black women because I don't really pay attention to nobody else, so I don't know what anyone else is doing. But at least with black women, I feel like there is definitely, if not this direct pressure, the way like women in general are pressured to be pretty or to be
right,
motherly.
right,
I feel like if it's not that to that extent, then at least within the black community over here, it
right,
seems like it's a cultural, like a current, like a subcultural norm. So obviously, like
right.
doing that in the black community back in the '60s was not a thing,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
with the overlap of being like a black millennial or a
right,
black Gen Z or whatever they're called, overlapping with being in this modern age and everything where dating also looks different than it did even 10 years ago with
right.
online dating on your phone now. I think
Yeah,
that kind of new culture and new interaction in the black community has created this sort of expectation or sort of like microcosmic societal pressure to roster date, at least if you're a woman. I feel like it's for men and women,
right.
but it seems like there is this I'm trying to see a different word besides pressure. This pressure, pain, promoted lifestyle or whatever
mm,
on social media where you are supposed to want to be unbothered. You're supposed to
yeah,
know your value. And so that means not getting caught up, not letting people hurt your feelings, not getting overly attached, being able to take it on the chin, like, oh yeah, I had a little crush on him. I had a little crush on Shorty, but she did this and it annoyed me, so I blocked her. I
right.
feel like that's kind of like what the aspiration is,
Yeah,
because even when I see on TikTok that trend from like late summer when that sound I got 99 problems with a bitch ain't one, and instead of bitch
yeah,
was nigga, and it was a lot of girls showing like
yeah.
lying, sending outfits,
Unhinged.
you know.
Yeah.
Um, and so on the one hand, I also understand it as being really exposing men for
Hmm.
being shit individuals a lot of the
Yeah,
time. And y'all can fucking quote me. I don't care.
yeah,
Men being shit individuals, especially towards women, specifically towards black women, because they think, oh, well, nobody wants y'all anyway, so I can treat y'all however. So here's the proof, baby. Here are the receipts.
right,
And so I feel like that's part of it, but also, um, in doing that, it's like, y'all, we don't really need men. Like, men are not a necessity, they're a luxury. So
yeah,
this is like the craziness that we deal with. And by this point, like, I'm not taking it serious no more. It's not worth my energy. Like, this is
right,
laughable at this point. Um,
yeah,
and so with that, I definitely understand it. But I think, at least for the way that I see the soft girl subculture within the black community, to me it seems like to kind of conflict, because I'm like, well, if I'm roster dating, I feel like that means I'm pimping these niggas out. Ain't no time
right,
for feelings. Whereas
right,
me, like my way of being a soft girl, baby, I'm sensitive. Anything, if you use the wrong tone with me, I'm crying. So
Right.
I feel like there's definitely this aspiration and this promotion to roster date. I think that is the dating style I have aspired to for a while.
Mm,
And especially last year, but last year I was pretty like new to dating, and so I wanted to roster date, but I also wanted to fall in love.
right.
Whereas now, I think I would like to roster date still, but it was like this is feeling like a second job. So once again,
Right.
it's not for me. It's not deep enough to continue to like talk to guys who irritate me, and they irritate me in
Right.
like 0.5 seconds. But yeah, I would say like that's probably my dating style, at least up to a week ago. Where now I'm just like I have
Yeah.
a dating style. My
Right.
dating style is to
Yeah.
swipe left.
I'm
uh,
crying.
but yeah, so moving on to the main topic, which is cuffing season. Do you have any thoughts on cuffing season? Have you ever partaken? When did you first hear about cuffing season? Noticing
Right.
people partaking in the culture, kind of thing?
So I'd honestly say probably like high school.
What?
Yeah, like high school. And it was basically essentially like it's getting cold, find you somebody to lay up with.
In
Like,
high school?
yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, I mean, even if it's not like it's just like your seasonal thing is basically what it is. At least like how I saw it. Like, oh, it's getting colder, like you kind of want somebody to keep it cute with.
Someone
Um,
to like drop by your locker, be like, "Girl, let me walk you to, let me
right.
walk."
Simple. Someone to meet you at the corner store, like cutesy shit. Um, and to me, like, I mean, I'd say I've never like participated in it. I've never felt like, well, it's starting to get cold outside. Like, let me start trying to find me like a partner. Um, just because I feel like there are times when I am in the mood for the companionship of others, and there are seasons where I am in the mood for companionship of just myself. Um, and I almost just kind of go with that, right? Like, I don't really feel like I'm not really like, oh well, like summer will be here in a couple months. I want to be going on vacation with someone's son, so let me start looking now. Like I don't be on that type of time. But I probably say, as far as like hearing the term cuffing season, I probably say like high school.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you say like you haven't like partaken in cuffing season or anything?
No, I say I haven't. Yeah. I mean, like sometimes, again, like I'll be on apps here and there. Like I'm currently just in like a solo season right now, but I feel like when I've gone on it, I haven't thought of like cuffing season. Like it'll just be like, okay, like I'm kind of in the mood to incorporate some companionship in my life. This is something like I miss. And then I go through times where I'm like, okay, I could do without this. Because, like you said, I mean, my dating style is very much swiping left.
Right.
Like, I just don't, I'm just not somebody who could deal with my nerves being grated. Although I will say, as a tangent, um, I do think I understand the roster push. And
Yeah.
I get it because I've seen plenty of things on social media about kind of like wasting your youthful years or wasting like
Right.
a certain period in your life. Um, Women who want to get married at a certain age, want children at a certain age, it makes sense that you not put all your eggs in a basket and be in like an 8-year relationship and lose the opportunity to really meet your person and have that family. I always say, as someone who doesn't want children, it is a luxury because I'm not racing against any kind of clock, biological or otherwise. I can get married at 60. I can get married at 70. I can get married at 45 and feel no different, right? But I understand women who want to. I mean, it's a certain amount. You want to date for a certain amount of time. You want to be in a relationship, engage, marry, have your child. Like people still want that American dream way. Um, and so like I get it, right? Like if you're 28 and you want to have your first child at 33, you should probably be looking for your husband dating at 28, right? Because he might not propose to you for 3 to 5 years. Now you're 32. The clock, tick, 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 boom, right?
Right.
My mother had me at 40, which is a geriatric pregnancy. Like, it's very much like you should have been sitting down. Do people have healthy pregnancies in their late 30s, early 40s? Absolutely. But if you ask the average woman, again, I can't speak for everyone, but a black woman, like, oh, would you want to have your first kid at 40? They would probably look at you like you're a dragon. Like, why would I do that? I'm almost half a century old if I do that. Like, that means when I'm 50, my child is 10 years old.
Right.
Why would I do that?
Right.
Right? So I do understand that push just because so many women like have wasted their time in relationships. I mean, it's really as simple as that. Be it having kids by the wrong person, be it they were married to someone and like they outgrew each other. Like, I mean, someone were in relationships what 8 years, 10 years, and they're like, I wish I did this differently. I wish I did that differently. Or like people who get married like right out of high school, right out of college, um, and it kind of goes sour. Like they feel like that is time I wasted. So I guess the push for roster dating is to eliminate really like wasting your time and making yourself more accessible to find the person that works for you versus kind of just jumping to the first lily pad that you like.
Right. And I definitely feel like, especially for women who want to get married or have kids or something by a certain timeline that involves a man,
Hmm.
you need to be moving differently.
Right.
So I think in general, for women who date men, monogamy needs to be fucking earned.
Yeah.
It's not the expectation, it's not the fucking
Right.
requirement
Right.
for any given woman. For someone who's dating whoever, monogamy might be their requirement, but it should not be
Right.
expected that every woman monogamy is required of them. So I'm like how you're saying, if I want to have the ability to enjoy my youth, to date around, to enjoy my 20s, whatever, and to also be married sometime in my 30s or have kids then or
Right.
just before that, then my standards need to be higher in order for you
Yeah.
to actually not just keep my attention or to get my to like be a part of my life, but to for you to be the exclusive one. Like,
Right.
do you understand that means that you honestly have to be almost like night and day? Because I'm not
Yeah.
here looking for a boyfriend for just to cuddle up because it's cold. Like if you're trying to say,
Right.
oh, I want us to be exclusive, that means you think marriage is down the line. You know?
Right. And I think that also begs the question of like your list, so to speak, your prayer, the Sierra prayer, your list for just like a husband,
Mhm.
right? Versus like just someone I'm kicking it with. But before that, have you participated in cuffing season?
I don't know.
Okay.
Um, when would you define cuffing season? I don't know if it's a cultural thing. Cause I know up north y'all do stuff different. So I don't know if y'all calendars is different from down here.
Um,
So.
I'd say like in summer, early fall, to like springish.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah, I think of it around like September
right.
to like Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I think if Valentine's Day is past, baby, you just. I'm not saying you can't date, but
Benched.
don't be in March being like, oh, it's cuffing season. It's not. It's not, baby.
It passed.
Work on
You
the
were
fucking
asleep.
thigh muscles because you're gonna be outside twerking, and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
You still twerk on somebody's son. You can twerk on multiple people's sons. You don't have to be just one, baby. But as far as I don't think I've participated in cuffing season really.
Mhm.
I have really done most of my dating over the summer.
Okay.
I did start dating in the winter time, and I wasn't really thinking of it as like, oh, it's cuffing season, because I'm just like, how do I talk to men?
Right.
It wasn't like a cutesy trying to get laid up. I'm just like, let me just see how to fucking do this since I'm so late to the game.
Right.
And so then last year, I feel like I sort of participated in it, but I got in and out real fucking quick because I got cuffed very fast. So if cuffing season starts like late August, early September, into September, I was cuffed. So like I can't really say I was participating in cuffing
You didn't
season.
really have the season. Yeah.
I wasn't cuffing. I was cuffed.
Right.
Not I was not the only one cuffed. I also cuffed. Okay. So yeah, I wouldn't say that I've really participated in it. And being like newly single now, that was something that I was like, oh, okay. I get to see what the girls are talking about. Okay, let me do a little rite of passage. A little late to the game, but yes, let's see what it's about.
Right.
But then I forgot how much men annoy me. So honestly, we might just I think summer is honestly my time.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's also another point that was on our notes was it was my point actually because I ask a lot of dumb questions. With cuffing season being the time period that it is, so like September to February, do you think that's an accurate time period for it to be
Mm.
between like uh, late summer, early fall to late winter, basically? Or do you think it makes more sense for it to be shorter or over a different time period?
So I think the again, I think it depends on how you define it.
Yeah.
But the way I've always kind of heard it defined was basically like in terms of like it's getting cold. I want somebody to keep me warm, right? But if we're just talking about dating in general, it's so funny. Like as you were talking, I was thinking like I'm naturally cold. I have this blanket on because child, I have my porch door open for air. I got a screen. Somehow, three stink bugs hitched a ride on my blinds and got caught inside my house. So I had a broom. It was very much a tussle, and then I got hot. So I put the AC on begrudgingly, and now I'm cold. I say all this to say I don't really like being outside when it's cold. However, if you are doing the majority of your dating when it's cold out, understand that a lot of motherfuckers are going to be trying to be doing Netflix and chill and house dates. So, and that's such a tricky situation because I don't think enough men realize like that could be like a here and there thing. You know, oh, I'm tired. I've been working all day. Like I just want to lay up. I just want to chill. But unfortunately, for a lot of men, that will set the standard. And every date after will be y'all in the house, um, eating food that you got in your cabinets. You know what I mean? Like it won't be like even no kind of like picnic meet cute in the house, right? Oh, he make a fort out of your couch cushions. Oh, he bring wine. He order pizza. He bring wings in the shape of a heart. Like it won't even be no cutesy shit. It is very much like he pops up to your crib with a pack of like Gwaltney hot dogs. Like no cutesy shit. So be y'all gotta be careful because I'm telling you, like date in the summer. You probably on to something, Chris. Date in the summer because the winter will get you. The winter will get you. And then y'all pop up in the summer, y'all like, oh my god, I can't be a hot girl. I'm pregnant. Like, cause every day was in your house. That's your problem now. But I
Yeah,
digress.
that's why the question came up in my mind because I'm like I understand why it would be this season because it's cold as
Right.
fuck. It's
Right.
it's getting dark at one
Yeah.
o'clock in the afternoon.
Simple.
The holidays are happening.
Yeah.
You know, that can be fun, but it's also
Yeah.
like that's a lot of also like still kind of like pressure because like oh well yeah
Yeah.
I can go to the state fair with my friends and go apple picking but that would also be really cute quintessential like couple stuff to do.
Yeah.
Kind of like a kid going to Disneyland, even though like not
Right.
obviously like, most kids don't go to Disney, but it's still very
Right.
much like a that's such a top tier goal kind of thing for a kid.
Right.
So it's like
Yeah.
you want there's more pressure to really like want to do it because it's like damn,
Yeah.
yeah, I could do it with my girls or my boys, but I'm say girls because I know niggas don't be going pumpkin to the pumpkin patch with their friends.
Right.
But what if I went with my girls and then I went with my man and we did, So I get that. So it's getting dark super early. It's cold. People
Right.
are it's the time of year where people are talking about being very close and family and connection.
Yeah.
So especially if you're not close with your family or you don't really have like
Right.
great relationships with your friends or your friends are all in relationships or you're getting to an
Right.
age where people are kind of sort of expecting you to be quote unquote settling down. I
Yeah.
understand the desire and feeling this longing or like you're missing out because that's the season like at least over here the
Right.
holidays are romantic.
Yeah.
Is the summer it can also be romantic. That's also stuff like a summer fling is like a like a cute little fun just airy relationship, but
Right.
it's different because it's like there's also not really the expectation that it's going to lead anywhere. It's just the
Right.
point is like
Summer.
it's fun, it feels good,
Yeah.
as opposed to in the winter. So I do understand why cuffing season would be during this time, especially post holidays with the winter blues. Like you're like, oh my god,
Right.
now what? I have to wait 12 weeks for it to be warm again.
Right.
So I get that, but like you were saying, why would I want to spend the entirety of fall and the holiday and the cold seasons, including pollen season,
Yeah.
um, which is damn near in February if you live in fucking North Carolina.
Yes. Oh my God.
February to May.
Everything green.
But why would I want to do all of that work and then the summer comes and like you said, I can't be a hot girl. Now, obviously, like I think she's still with Party Meg. And so, Meg was
Yeah.
like, don't get it twisted, mama. I'm still making music for the girls. It's still hot,
Right.
hot girl and cuffed.
Meg is an exception. Meg, a lot of you bitches think y'all Meg and y'all not. Let's start there. Y'all
Right.
not. Y'all not Meg. I'm sorry to break. Y'all are not. Meg. Y'all can't even be out with y'all homegirls for more than 2 hours without him texting you. So please don't try to move like Meg. Don't try MLM. Don't try to move like Meg. You're not Meg. You're not Meg.
So that's why I'm like, for me and what I find fun, I don't understand why. I just don't understand why. Because it's like I feel
Yeah.
like the summer part is missed. We have the fall, the winter taken care of. That's cuffing season, and then you have the honeymoon phase. I guess
Right.
around the springtime, which is also pretty romantic because
Yeah.
it's starting to get warm. People are going outside. The trees are blooming, and you can actually enjoy it if you don't have allergies like some of us. No one talks about the fucking summer piece.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't. I just don't get who would want to be in a relationship during the summer. I just,
Yeah.
at least like as a young person,
Right.
and I mean, I guess you can do your vacations and everything, but I'm like, what if I want to have a fucking threesome? Just because. What if I just want to like go to the clubs and get
Right.
mono? Like, I can't do that. I mean, you could do it in a
I'm
relationship, but
sleep.
most relationships, you're not going to be able to
Right.
do that.
Right.
Um, And let me make that clear. How I said in most relationships, you probably won't be able to do that because most people aren't on that wave. Some of y'all will hear that and be like, oh, I was going to do that anyway, even though y'all are in a relationship that is clearly closed. Just know that there is a special seat for you in hell. Like, we don't
And
even,
don't say that Chris and Chanel sent you because we didn't.
no,
We
like,
didn't. When you got something you can't get rid of, we did not send you. We didn't advise you. Like you bitches is not Meg. That's if you take away nothing else from this podcast here, I want you hosts to take that away. Yeah. Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
wonder also if I feel like that so passionately because, to make it deep, because of the way like heterosexual relationships are marketed to us, even like young people, which
Right.
is that like it's supposed to like once you're actually in a relationship, it's not really supposed to be that summer romance carefreeness anymore, like past the honeymoon stage at least. You
Right.
know, and to an extent, like it makes sense because it's like, all right, well, if we're actually gonna be together, like it's not just gonna be all rainbows and sunshine. Like now we're talking about like long term communication style, you know. So I get
Right.
that, but um, it seems like the reason why at least I feel like it seems like being in a relationship in the summer would not be as fun as if you're single is because how you're saying with Meg. Again,
Yeah.
it's obviously like I don't know Meg, I don't know Party, but if
Right.
I was Party, okay, and Meg was my girl, I'm not gonna get mad if I go on Instagram and I see on her story that a nigga is like waterfall and Hennessy in her mouth, or that she's shaking her ass, and then niggas like, damn, because she's Meg, because
I was
she's
just
Meg.
gonna say.
And so I feel like that's part of the thing. Is like
Yeah.
even if it's you know that person's not going to be your husband, or even if you're like it's a
Right.
possibility, but I don't know because we only been dating for 4 months. People will
Right.
still want to act like people will still want to play house, and
Yeah.
you know, like I said, like we're adults. You guys need to act like adults, um, and people are allowed to have their own boundaries and stuff. But it seems like this level of possessiveness exists
Yeah.
in relationships. And to me, it just gives off like very insecure.
Right.
But again, like for me, like I'm not too familiar with dating, so
Right.
that could be why I'm like pretty lax with it. But I feel like if people were more secure in their partner, not saying that you have to be cool with like your girl twerking on another guy, or like your guy like like having a girl like grind on him and everything, but I'm just also like, if it's the summertime and y'all are like on vacation, you're in Jamaica, like you in Zanzibar, like why are you mad that girls are
Please.
fucking grinding? Like it's like this, like when I went to this salsa night earlier in the year, and it's not a slight if you are very obviously with your boyfriend or your husband as a woman, and a guy comes up to you, the woman, and it's like, can I dance with you? Not talking to the man, talking to the woman, can I dance for you? And it's not deep, it's not deep
Mm.
like at all. It's just like, do you want to dance? I guess
Yeah.
that's the point I'm getting to, is just like as soon as people are in relationships, it just seems like it just gets so serious.
I
Um,
think it really just depends on the two people, right? Like some people I think kind of have that like mentality of like it's just not that deep. Like we are not on a compound in a cult. Like it don't gotta be this attached, this tight. Um so I won't stamp anything because I just know everybody's different. Everybody operates their relation. Like there's some women who like they'll see a big butt and they're like, oh, it's a big butt, and they mean like, oh, it's a big butt, and it's cool. I don't. If we in Zanzibar and somebody dancing on my man, I'm kicking sand right in your eyes.
oh
I'm gonna
my
let you know
god.
straight up. It's gonna be sand right in your eyes, itty gritty, itty gritty. Simple, simple, simple,
But yeah, so that's
simple.
what I think. Like with the summer, I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
god, because I'm like, okay, if I'm 20 something or even 30 something, child, because 30 is still young, and I
yeah,
have to choose
fair.
between, I don't know, having a man or
Yeah,
doing whatever the fuck I want. Oh my god,
right.
the freedom! Oh my god, I'm an air sign, y'all. Maybe that's it. I'm just like, I can't stand being held
Yeah,
down.
I'm a fire sign. Hence standing eyes.
Oh
Yeah,
my god. Um,
yeah. Because you're gonna be kicked out the club, and I'm gonna still be here. Hmm.
okay. Let me see. I'm trying to look through some of the stuff that we have. Let me see what time we're at.
Yeah. So I know one of the things was kind of what I said earlier about like the difference between like your expectations of
Right.
like a fun. I don't want to say sneaky link because sneaky link has like roach, what I call like roach connotations, where it's like I see you at night, right? Like night only, like um, but where it's like something fun, something light, versus like I'm looking for my husband. Like your dating list for when you're dating for a husband versus when you're dating for something that's just supposed to be like fun, short term, you know what I mean, airy. Um, I will just say I do think often people are under the assumption that if you're doing something free, fun, and casual, you cannot have expectations
Yeah.
of the person, even if those expectations are just what you would expect from a decent human being.
Ding ding.
Like,
Ding ding. Is
I'd be like, huh?
is yeah.
Like, oh, why it matter to you if he got a car? Y'all only hooking up. Because if I want to go out and eat and we hang out, I don't want you pulling up on a bike. I'm not getting on the back of your bike.
And my
It's just
thing is
not
like
gonna
even
happen.
be something as petty as like I just like niggas with cars. Like
Right,
it
right.
like what does it fucking
Why
matter?
can't that be my standard for myself without it being like you asking too much?
Like my God. But yeah, I think that was definitely oh Jesus, I bit my mouth. I think that was not I think, but I know that was something that I really battled with last not this past summer, but summer 2021
Mm,
for the reason that I kind of alluded to earlier in the episode where I was new to dating and I do this thing where I feel like I'm always on a timeline and my birthday had just passed. Summer was coming up and I realized like, oh my God, I'm so young. And I've been telling myself like I'm so old, I need to like just live my life and live in the present. So I was, going
yeah.
wild. But there was also this part of me that wanted this level of softness and
Mm,
intimacy
mm,
also because I am not familiar with that. And
right.
so it felt like I had to um choose between just like maybe like a quick fuck or something
Right.
or just someone to like maybe hang out with every so often or
Yeah.
a husband. Like what?
Yeah.
And that was like my theme for last summer because I felt like
Yeah.
the stuff I was asking for, not even asking for, I was afraid to ask, but the stuff that felt like was missing, I thought like, oh, I can't expect that from these people because I'm not I'm not their girlfriend. Like,
Yeah.
if I were to expect that from them, then what benefit would they have? Because they would have to be my boyfriend. They can't sleep with other girls, all this other stuff. It felt like I was quote unquote asking too much.
Mm,
Whereas now, fall 2022, as I'm like newly single and stuff. And so part of the post breakup process is me thinking like, okay, like what have I learned moving forward? Like what are my needs? Yada yada yada. And even being on the apps for a little bit afterwards, realizing like at least right now, for me personally, there is a very fucking thin line, at least for the bare minimum shit, between what
yeah.
I expect of even a hookup and a fucking husband.
Right.
Like last July, hell, even last September, I would have been afraid and felt like I was being like bougie, asking too much, being petty for expecting a guy to or desiring a man to open my doors, even
Right.
though we're just like fuck buddies. Whereas now I'm
Right.
like, if you can't even open a fucking door,
Yeah.
my guy, like that, and that's fine. You don't have to. But that also means like we aren't communicating. Like the fact that you think
Simple.
that me asking for you to open or expecting you to open my doors is
Yeah.
too much, but I'm still supposed to just have sex with you all the fucking time and only hang
Right.
out outside. Like,
Right.
doesn't make sense, but you can't open a fucking door. So yeah,
Right.
I'm like the the list for a fuck nigga or no, because we don't do fuck niggas, but a list for a guy who you're just like, or a guy who you're just like mid dating. Like y'all do cutesy shit, but it's still casual. And
Right.
the exclusive boyfriend and the husband. The bare minimum shit is it's a thin fucking line. Like
Yeah.
even financial compatibility. If I want, because like you said, like I'm not the kind of person who just wants to hang out in the house all day.
Right.
But that's also a part of friendships as well. I feel like people think
Yep.
that just because something is casual, and casual looks, different for people where it is like we are strictly only having sex, then yeah, it don't really fucking matter
Right.
necessarily if either of y'all have things going for y'all. But if it does, someone might not be like, I don't want to have sex with someone who just does not have their shit together. It feels icky. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I think even just for like stuff that isn't strictly physical, stuff that is just, casual, like, yeah, it's sex, sometimes we hang out.
Yeah.
There's still this base level of human decency.
Right.
I'm not going to necessarily, for me personally, expect that a guy who I'm just seeing casually or whatever, and not exclusively, to pay for my meal every single fucking time. But
Right.
that's because one, like I don't you're not courting me. Like in the very beginning, yeah, like I am gonna kind of look at you if you're like, let's go Dutch the very first time, because I'm like, all right, I'm still from the South, we're still in the South, I'm still a lady. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But it's not a long term expectation kind of thing,
Right.
or a consistent thing that I'm expecting. Because again, not like you say, not too fucking much. Like don't try to
Right.
don't court me, nigga. Like it's keep it
Yeah.
cute.
Right.
But I expect that because even in my regular friendships,
Hmm.
I will do stuff like that. We do stuff like that for each other.
Right. Right.
A friend might invite me out and she's like, oh, you want to go get oysters? Yeah, sure. And she's like, okay, I got it. And I'm not even like going and expecting them to pay. Or I
Right.
might, be hanging out with someone and I don't invite them out to pay for something, but I'm just like, don't worry about it, I got it. I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's just like basic friendship for
Yeah.
me. And people just
Yeah.
like it's like you're asking for too much.
Yeah. And I
Like,
feel like the issue with that is like how men and how women define friend with benefits is very different.
yes.
And another issue is people thinking the only benefits is a sexual or physical one. Like you could have a friend with benefits that you travel with. You
Right.
could have a friend with benefits that y'all like bar hop, restaurant hop, go to the fair, go to the zoo, go check out comedy shows, go check out plays at a theater. Like it is people legitimately think that the only benefit in a friend with benefit situation is a physical one,
Right.
which is lazy in my opinion. The friend component is down in hell. So then it basically just becomes like you a hole. That's it. You just a hole. I hit you. I hit you when I want to be in it. You hit me when you want to give it. That's it.
Right.
Um. So
Do you- mm. Okay, I'm curious to know if you have any opinions, thoughts, or ideas on why there is that gap between how men will define or expect or like think of a friends with benefit situation as opposed to like how women think of it.
I mean, I think it really the root of it is women thinking that they can't have expectations of someone they're just sleeping with.
Mm-hmm.
Um. I think they get that information from other women as well as from men. Um, just this belief of like, okay, like we just hooking up. Like, what else do you want from me?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I also think a lot of women don't think about the ways that other aspects of a person can bleed into even if y'all just hook up. If we're just hooking up, but I make 100,000 a year and you have 5 jobs, that's going to be a turnoff for me. The likelihood of us being able to hook up when I want to, if I want to hook up frequently, is probably slim. Again, you're working 5 jobs. Or even like, say that that person's working 5 jobs, but they have a roommate because they can't afford to live on their own. Like all those things, especially, I mean, being a woman, there is so much more to being turned on sexually by somebody than just their physical looks. Them being able to say a little ha ha here and then,
Yeah.
right? So, yes, is it a requirement that you court me? No. But if we're just hooking up and I notice, like, okay, this is a man's man, I'm throwing ass. Like, simple, simple. So, I think that, or like, again, um, like if the person's like well traveled, like, oh, I'm traveling to this place, like I like you to come with me, I feel like we have fun, like I enjoy your company, I enjoy your time, like I'm not just in this for the physical aspect. Like women notice those things.
Yeah.
So I feel like the difference is often, or I mean, and I'm not a man so I can't say it, but I seen like on TikTok or Reddit or this or that, men will be jaded by friend with benefit situations where they feel like, oh, I gave her all this, but it still didn't go my way, depending on what that is, right? Like, it could be, oh, he got feelings and she still didn't want to mess up. She's like, you knew what it was when we got together. Or it could be, oh, she was talking to other people and got a boyfriend, but I did all this and showed up for her in all these ways. And, now we don't even mess around no more. We don't even talk no more, right? So, again, I can't speak and say that because I'm not a man. But I do think that it partially stems from the belief that with women, like, oh, I can't request a lot of this man. If it's from with benefits, like we don't. I don't think women also. I don't think that women think of the other benefits, right? Aside from like QC dates and sleep, like hooking up, I don't think women think of like I can travel with this person or oh, you know what I mean? Like this is somebody that I could go like explore the city with. I'm sure to a certain extent, some women worry about getting too invested, and that line getting blurred on their end, um, because they're like, okay, I got to limit the time I spend with this man, right? Um, that's like almost a form of a boundary for them is to limit it to strictly physical.
Right.
Um, so that's how I feel.
Yeah. I'll cap that off. Because I mean, I don't care whose feelings I hurt. I'm not a man. I'll say it. I think one of the like the biggest reasons for this gap,
Mm,
kind of like what stood out to me from like what you were saying is,
mhm.
um, one the thing with men, and I'm generalizing. I don't give a fuck. Not all men. Okay, I don't give a fuck. Men. The
Right.
thing with men that I've noticed is that frustration where it's like, oh well, I when we got Taco Bell, I let her order $40 for the tacos, or like, and that's me being silly. But even if it's like, oh well, like we would like go on picnics
Love
and do
Taco Bell.
cutesy shit, or like I opened my door for her, or I opened the door for her, or like
Right.
I was nice to her.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I was a
The
gentleman.
nice guy trope. Don't get me started. Don't get me started, nice guy trope,
And
please.
then when they're like, and then she went and got a boyfriend, and now I'm jaded by that. And so my thing is like to allow some grace just for like humanness. I understand, like, even
Yeah.
if it is just like you knew it was a casual thing,
Yeah.
you can become so used to a situation and how it is that it
Yeah.
almost kind of escapes your mind. And while you might be able to say when you're not faced with that situation, like, yeah, I can handle it, but then when the reality actually becomes a case, you're like,
Right.
that actually like makes me feel a kind of way. But the thing
Right.
is, like, I think that's very low on the totem pole for them. I feel like a majority of it is that they expect stuff from women. They believe
Mm,
women owe them something.
mm-hmm.
and that we are not innately deserving of bare minimum treatment.
Right.
Well, like I bought your drink, so why wouldn't you come home with me, nigga? What? So
Right.
that's
This
what I think.
fucking $5 drink. Like,
Whereas with women, and I think what you said was women don't think of the other benefits. And my thing is, I think I would push that a little more and be like, it's not even so much that women aren't thinking about it or that they're forgetting about it or that they don't know that other benefits exist.
mm,
I think that the thing is that women are taught and brought up that the man is the benefit, is the
mm,
benefits. So the benefit is be with a man and not be single,
right.
or be single and not have a man. So it's like,
Right.
well, you have a man, like you don't want to lose him. So, just give him what he wants. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
of course, like a man, men being men, boys being boys, they're just they're hunters. They it's just in their nature to like want to like spread their genetics and be with a bunch of women. So in order as a woman to keep him, you need to make sure that you are basically convincing him to stay with you because it's just in his
Yeah.
like that's what I think it is. Because if men and women or girls and boys were raised the same way, that gap would be a lot
Yeah.
smaller, and the frustration or fears that men and women have in dating would not be on polar ends. And it wouldn't be
Yeah.
for polar different reasons where men are frustrated because they expect something and women are frustrated because they don't expect enough. Or
And I feel like women will gaslight themselves
right.
because they want companionship. Like, and it's sad because we live in a society that almost demonizes the desire for a, I mean, like, I can only speak for women and I can only speak for like straight women, but for a male counterpart. It's very much like, date yourself, love yourself, fuck these men. But like, then women start almost feeling like guilty, like
Mhm.
for wanting to have companions. But I say like gaslight themselves because a lot of times women will be like, okay, like, am I asking for something that like is it fair for me to ask for this, right? Like, um, is this what I marketed that I wanted initially? Like women feel like, okay, if I said this, I can't change my mind, later on down the line. Or like now I'm being dishonest. Now I'm not being truthful to my word. Now I feel like I'm somebody that's like ingenuine. Um it's just so much. But yeah, I think what you're saying is spot on.
Right.
That in a situation like that, it's almost like, okay, like him even kind of picking you is the prize. When in reality, you see it across species, like it's the complete other way around. But
Right. Um I thought I had something else to say. I don't know. I think it completely left me. But yeah, I can honestly talk about this for a million years, especially because like of the book I'm
yeah,
reading. The book I'm reading is called "I Hate Men." Again, just report the account. Honestly, I don't give a fuck.
I'm crying.
And I'm still kind of early in, but it is really making me rethink a lot of things and seeing how any like a lot of the fears and concerns
Mm,
or even like the behaviors that I feel like in some ways are innate to me, like being compassionate, being
right,
very generous in the grace I offer, is
right.
stuff that I was also socialized to do,
Socialize.
and that my
Yep,
worth is from that. So I
yep,
don't think that there is anything wrong with being empathetic, with thinking
right,
and having those concerns like, oh, well, did was I misleading? Or
right.
if I do this, it might come across this way. I think those are natural emotions. The thing is,
Yeah,
men do not have that typically.
hell no.
It's not to say that just because men are like over here in fucking
Right,
Mars that we need
right,
to therefore detach ourselves from our emotions and be like them. No, again, the goal
right.
is not to be like a man. Not all the time. In a job interview, yes, do whatever a mediocre white man would do. But again,
Exactly.
like men are not the aspiration in this
Right.
example. Um But it's the fact that one, that level of compassion and empathy and forethought is not reciprocated at all, let alone like at a comparable
Right.
level. But it's also the fact that we are doing it to just such a high extent. And it's
Right.
not even necessarily because that's how we are or want to be. It's like a fear of response. Like, oh no, I hope I didn't like upset him.
Yeah.
Instead of it really like, oh, I actually care. I
Right.
think there's that base level of like human compassion, but then there's an added level
Yeah.
of where you're a woman, so you shouldn't want to upset anyone, and you should have like known ahead of time, being the nurturing, motherly, sensitive woman that you are, that he
Mhm.
wanted to take you home when he just said hi to you in the club. Like, why would you be a fucking tease? So I think that's just like such so much of it is just really like in the conditioning aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can talk about this for hours. We're probably gonna have to do like a part two, but what at
Yeah.
least like I would like to close with as far as like takeaways, if y'all made it this fucking far, hello. We see you.
I.
Um, at least for the women listening to this episode, because by this point, honestly, I'm not talking to men right now. Um, so like if there are any guys, whatever. But for the women, like if there's at least one thing that I want you to take from here, besides Chanel's, like y'all, you're not Megan the fucking Stallion, is
Simple.
I'm trying to like how to just put it into a simple thing. I would honestly just get into the habit of, at least when it comes to dating, and you're having any kind of insecurity, or you are even doing something that to you doesn't necessarily feel wrong, like putting on makeup, to even just go get ice cream, just to like really think about like, okay, why am I doing this? Is this what I want to do?
Right.
Okay, it's what I want to do, but why? And
Right.
even thinking like, okay, based on the stuff that I'm doing, who really benefits from this?
Right.
And what benefit am I actually receiving? And the benefit is never allowed to be, I get to have companionship with the man. Do not, like, outside of being with a man and in his company and
Right.
getting his attention and his gaze, what is the benefit that you are getting? That's the question that I need more women to ask themselves. How is this benefiting me? How is this pouring into my cup? Ask yourselves that, please, just once a day. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, is there anything that you want to close off before we get to the reflex question?
Um, I just want to say that I think it's so important that women check in with themselves while they're dating. Even like if you're in like a friend with benefit situation, um, because it is so easy to like go into it having certain expectations, and then while you're in the thick of it, like your needs are not being met in some way, shape, or form, and it's not serving you anymore. Like you would never walk into a restaurant and sit at a table with no free water, right? Like I think women often kind of sit in situations because they're like, oh, but it has some good, but it has like this little sliver. Like so often women take morsels, and like Chris said, we're socialized to believe like be happy with that. Like there's women getting treated worse. Um I completely forgot what I was about to say. Oh my gosh. Damn it, what was I about to say?
While you think of that, I have an analogy. So going off
Yeah.
what she said, where like you're not going to sit in a restaurant where they don't greet you, where they don't
Yeah.
give you free water.
The bare minimum.
You're not, and and you will end up typically like talking yourself basically out of advocating for yourself and having your own boundaries, because you're like, oh well, he's this, but at least he. It's like, at least, if it's any at least, we're not no. It's a no.
Yeah.
Um, so the way, like the analogy being, for me, I don't like any kind of nuts. I don't like peanuts, almonds, cashews, whatever the fuck. Um, and so if I get a cookie or a brownie and I notice that it has nuts in it, I'm not gonna eat it. It could be
I'm
my
gonna eat it.
favorite cookie. It could be my favorite brownie. And just
Right.
because it has nuts in it and I do not like nuts, I'm not going to force
Mm.
myself to eat it because I know I'm not going to enjoy it. And I do not like peanuts.
Yeah,
So it's the same thing. If y'all know that
that is a good analogy.
this bothers you, you don't have to convince yourself that you like peanuts in desserts.
That you, yes.
No, you don't.
And I think Chris also made a good point earlier. I think it's important to note so much of that happens on like an unconscious level.
Right.
So you really have to be willing to dig deep, to think, to be uncomfortable, to like make a different kind of decision. Um, because some things are not going to feel as obvious as it seems like we're saying, right? Like
Right.
it's just not. Um, but yeah, I think Chris has the cards.
One more thing, because I'm on a roll. I'm honestly a fucking pastor right now. Very last thing that I want y'all to take away, and this is honestly for like anyone who like identifies as a woman, or honestly even like anyone who dates men, because obviously this has been like a very like heteronormative conversation. Um, for those two populations, I would honestly just try to get into the habit of more often asking yourself when you hear yourself saying like, "Oh, well, at least this person is this," or yada yada yada. Are you offering grace, or are you making excuses for this person? And if
Mm,
you are offering grace, is that the kind of grace you would even offer yourself?
mm.
Because I don't, the amount of grace I give niggas historically, I'm never that kind to myself. So really, like, have those kind of conversations with yourselves. Yeah, like, are you just trying to be nice, or are you like making excuses? Like, oh well, not
Yeah,
everyone can afford a car. Okay, well, and now what?
right.
Okay, cool. So this one, it's a good thing that this is not my card because the answer would be obvious. So for you, Chanel, the card is, what are you actively trying not to care about? Whereas for me, obviously, this conversation. It's like I'm trying not to let it get to me.
What am I trying not to care about right now? That's a hard question. Um, I guess when I'll decide to go back to dating. Um, I haven't really been on the app since like May.
Okay.
Um, I've just kind of been really like focusing on myself. And I always kind of hunker down more so, and that's toward the end of the year. It's my birthday coming up. It's the end of the year coming up. It's the new year coming up. So there are times when companionship can be distracting
Mm-hmm.
for me. Um, so I think I'm trying not to even like think about like, okay, like when do you want to put yourself back out there? Because it doesn't matter. It's no time soon.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Cool. Cool. All right. You can tell me when to stop shuffling. And also, real quick, for those who aren't new here, this is just something we do at the end of each episode. We have these conversation cards that are actually interesting and not about what your favorite ice cream flavor is. We just like to
you can
end
stop.
with this. Just right here. Okay, off the bottom or the top?
Top.
Yeah. Okay, so I can't see this because you're supposed to just answer it right off the dome. Can you? Is it visible?
Is it okay for your loved ones to be friends with your enemies?
No, no, no. Enemy. So that's me knowing myself. If I have an enemy,
Yeah,
you did something to me. Like,
yeah.
so to me, and the thing is, like, I even people who like did me dog dirt booty ass wrong, I don't consider them an enemy
Yeah.
because I'm just like that's the same reason. Like, I don't actually hate
Nah.
people.
You probably an enemy to me.
Like,
Yeah.
these girls that I actually grew up with when we were in college, they didn't want to leave like the bars and everything, and so even though I was blackout drunk, they wanted to put me in an Uber by myself with a man. So, those are people that you block you the fuck immediately. So while
Yeah.
they're not enemies to me, like they're very irrelevant to me. Um, if if you knew that happened, even right now, like if what to say, like a partner, if I met a partner or whatever and then he's like, oh yeah, this is my friend, and I'm like, just so you know, your friend did this and this to me, and they're cool with that. No, I can't do it. um
Yeah.
just because I don't really have enemies like that, so if I did, it would be very suspect that you would be able to detach from that. Um, but I know there are some petty people out there, so it might be like, well, girl, you don't like anybody, so we gotta redefine our expectations, mama. But in
Simple.
general, I would say no, it's not okay. But yeah, so that is our episode today, y'all. The title will be Chris Yells for an hour and 15 minutes. But I will let Chanel close this off as always.
Y'all, thank you for sitting with us again. This was our fifth episode. It's your girl Chanel. It's Brown Bay Field Notes.
And it is your girl, Chris. Thank you for listening, y'all. Y'all
Yes,
can catch
we are
us
on. Yep.
all wherever we are. Any social media thing besides Twitter, you can
Shout
find us
Google the
at
name at this
Brown
point.
Babe Field Notes. Except the Instagram right now, I think has changed, but I can't remember what it is. So
I think it's Brown Bay Pod.
right. But if you look up Brown Babe Field Notes, we'll still come up.
Yeah.
So again, if you want to find us on the interweb somewhere, just search our name and we should pop up. If not, and you want to see us there, just let us know. Um, Otherwise, you can catch us every Friday, ideally at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard, but definitely before 11:59 p.m. So we will see you all next Friday sometime.
Oh.
Thank you so much for listening. Remember what I said. Have some standards. You're not asking for too much. And we're going to close it off. Thanks so much for listening, y'all. Have a good one.
Bye.